And now to the cost. The migrant crisis is costing taxpayers an eye-popping $150 billion last year alone, causing crisis zones to cut emergency services to cope with the influx. According to a nonprofit analysis, that means cutting firefighters and police. They may be even more headed this way right now if Kamala Harris wins the White House. Hundreds of thousands of migrants are reportedly being held in Mexico until Election Day, awaiting the outcome to see if they can, in fact, enter the country. Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security says more than 600 illegal migrants could be tied to the dangerous Tren de Aragua gang from Venezuela. Experts are warning that that estimate could be low because Venezuela does not share information with the U.S. No kidding. DHS recommending 100 of those migrants be put on the FBI watch list. Joining me now is Florida Senator Rick Scott, a member of the Senate Homeland Security, Armed Services and Budget Committees. Senator, thanks so much for being here this morning. And I want to tap into your role on the Homeland Security Committee, Senator, because this has become a national security problem with so many unvetted individuals coming into this country. What can you tell us?
Just stop and think about it this way. In 2023, one out of every 44 Americans was subject to a violent crime. One out of every 44. The Biden administration and the Democrats, and my opponent in this race, they believe in open borders. They don't care that terrorists are coming across our border, drugs are coming across our border, criminals are coming across our border, and they don't support the police. So how violent do they want this country to be? One of every 10 Americans? So here's what's going to happen. Donald Trump is going to win. On Homeland Security Committee, we're going to do everything we can to give him the power to make sure this border is secure. We stop these terrorists, criminals, and drugs from coming across our border. And if you're violating the law in this country, you're going to be deported. You're going to be sent out of this country. This has to stop. I mean, I think about it for my grandkids. I mean, how safe are they in this society? And I don't get these Democrats. Like, my opponent is all for open borders. She wants to give money to illegals and raise our taxes. Like, who are these people? Why don't they represent Americans and worry about us? And you know what? These crimes are not just happening against Republicans. They're happening against Democrats, too. Yeah. So I don't know how anybody can vote for a Democrat.
Well, these pictures that we're looking at are just unreal. The number of illegal migrants headed toward America right now, and there's another caravan on the way. And yet Kamala Harris will not take responsibility for any of it. She was asked last night at a CNN town hall about it. Watch this.
Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
As of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half.
But if it was that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Senator, what's your take on that? She would not take responsibility, and now she claims she wants to strengthen the border after having an open border for 4 years and allowing in this country potential terrorists, 15,000 murderers, 13,000 rapists?
She takes no responsibility for anything in her job. I mean, Trump secured the border, and by the way, the Democrats fought him the whole way. But he secured the border. The day they walked in, they intentionally opened the border and let drugs, criminals, and terrorists. How many Laken Rileys do we have to have before the Democrats finally say they're going to secure the border and protect all of us?
I don't understand the motivation here.
If your child, this happened to your child?
I mean, I don't even understand the motivation.
I'm sorry, Maria?
What's the motivation for having a wide open border for 4 years and allowing into this country potential terrorists that want to do us harm?
Well, the only thing I can see is it helps them increase the census in states where they get more electoral votes.
That's
So
unbelievable.
supposedly California would lose unbelievable number of electoral votes because they count the illegal immigrants in their census population.
Wow.
That's the only thing I can understand what they're doing. But what they're doing to Americans, I don't care whether you're Republican or Democrat, I'm worried about my child. I'm worried about my grandchild's safety because of what they have done.
Yeah. Well, we're 12 days away from the election, and a new survey from Emerson College and The Hill shows that you have a 4-point lead over your challenger as well, Democrat Congresswoman Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. The survey also shows Donald Trump leading Kamala Harris by 8 points in Florida. Radio host Hugh Hewitt has a new op-ed for FoxNews.com. He writes, quote, Republican Senate leadership did a great job recruiting the GOP field for 2024. The Hill is reporting some Republican senators want Trump to play a role in picking the next GOP Senate leader. Mitch McConnell will not be running for leadership. Senator, you're running against Senators John Thune and John Cornyn for the next Senate leadership. Trump endorsed you when you ran against McConnell in 2022. Tell me about that. How much confidence do you have? Do you think you can get this?
Absolutely.
Is Trump backing you again?
But here it comes down to this. Well, he hasn't made it. He hasn't come out and said anything publicly, and if he does, he's not going to do it till after his win. But here's the deal. We've got to have somebody that gets along with Trump, number one. He's going to be the president. Number two is we need to have change. I mean, what we've been doing is not working. We have almost $36 trillion worth of debt. All right. We haven't done anything to solve any of the problems. We don't even talk about preserving Medicare benefits, preserving Social Security benefits, getting rid of inflation, securing the border, making sure we don't have a woke military. We have none of those conversations. So if we want to keep doing this status quo, nobody should vote for me. I'm a business guy. I built companies based on changing things. You build a team. You take the best ideas. We don't have it's not a dictatorship. So the path we're going down is not working. So we need to have a dramatic change. What I've told my colleagues, if you want to change, I'm your guy. If you don't vote for me.
Speaking of dictatorships and communists, I want to get your take on China because John Ratcliffe said to me recently, former DNI, Director of National Intelligence, saying that China and Iran are in alignment with the goal of stopping Trump, in alignment with the Democrats. There's some disturbing stories this morning. The Louisiana Attorney General has announced that the state is suing Department of Homeland Security after a female Chinese illegal alien infected with a rare medically resistant and deadly form of tuberculosis was transferred to an ICE facility in L.A., where she may have exposed hundreds of people to the disease while in the ICE detention facilities. Bill Malugin tweeted about this. He said he's told by federal sources that the woman initially crossed illegally in San Diego and was transferred by Border Patrol to ICE in Louisiana, and that she remains in custody there. She's really sick in Louisiana. I don't know if, what's behind this, but this is obviously quite scary. And then you've got all these Chinese companies trading on U.S. exchanges. I know that you introduced legislation to ban Chinese A-share companies from our capital markets, which basically have investors wittingly or unwittingly supporting the CCP by buying these stocks. So what's your take on the China element here?
China wants to destroy every American's way of life. That's China's goal. They want to destroy your way of life. So what we have to do is we have to wake up. Stop allowing them to sell products in this country. Okay? Stop buying their products. You as an American citizen, all right, don't buy anything made in China. They want to destroy us. They should never be allowed to raise money in this country. Our government should never buy anything from China. Not drugs, not drones, nothing from China. Solar panels, nothing. We need to wake up, right? And if we keep doing this, they're going to destroy our way of life. Look, I grew up in a country that I had the opportunity. I grew up in public house. I had the opportunity to be anything. They want to destroy our way of life. They don't believe in freedom and liberty and opportunity that we believe in. So we all have to wake up. Stop doing business with China. All of our companies need to stop doing business with China. We need to stop buying anything from China. We need to say they are bad. They want to destroy us.
But
Wake
Senator,
up.
I mean, this also requires policy changes. I mean, first of all, with those stocks that I just mentioned, And investors are buying those companies, funding the expansion of the CCP. But there's also all of these things that are still made in China. So, I mean, in order to say stop buying this stuff from China, we need policymakers, legislators to ensure that the supply chain moves out of China. Because right now, they're making the things that we're buying. So, you know, we've talked about this from 2020 when we saw Chinese state media coming out and saying, well, maybe we won't send the prescription drugs that America needs. Maybe we won't export those drugs and those underlying ingredients to America right now since they need them and they're sick. You know, I mean, we're being, you know, held hostage by all of these things, including prescription drugs from China, Senator. So when are you and your colleagues actually going to ensure that actually the supply chain moves out of China?
Well, in this year's National Defense Authorization Act, I got in there a process. We're going to stop buying. Our Department of Defense will stop buying Chinese drugs. Now, think of how stupid it is that we ever bought a drug from China that wants to destroy our way of life. Our military should not be dependent on China for any drugs. When you do that, you'll help build an American supply chain or a supply chain with our allies.
Senator, it's not just drugs. What about drones? Why is the U.S. military buying and using drones made by DJI, a Chinese drone maker? Can you tell us?
It's illegal.
And doesn't that mean that everything those drones see, China sees? So what are we doing? That's our number one adversary.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Senator, it's good to have you this morning. We'll be watching your work. These are really important issues.
That's already illegal, Maria.
Yeah, we appreciate you tackling all of them. Thank you, sir. Senator Rick Scott in Florida. We'll be right back.